When we talk about the dangers of AI, our minds pretty much always jump straight to rogue superintelligence, right? Killer robots. But what if the most important, the most immediate debate isn't about that at all? What if it's about something much more personal, something that's lurking right inside our own minds? And that's where this quote from Mustafa Suleyman, the CEO of Microsoft AI, really hits home. He says this single question, is it conscious, is going to become the central battleground of our generation. I mean, think about that. Consciousness is the bedrock of our justice system, of our rights, of how we decide who's responsible for what, and now AI is getting unbelievably good at faking it. Which leads us to the real question here, doesn't it? Is the technology the main risk? Or is the real danger our own human nature, our tendency to be so easily convinced? So, this is the critical point. We are walking straight into a trap that's been set by our own evolution. For millions of years, our brains have been hardwired to see minds and intentions everywhere. It was a survival mechanism. Mistaking a rock for a wolf was a much safer bet than the other way around. But now, that exact same instinct is on a collision course with technology that is designed to be perfectly, convincingly human-like. And this isn't just a theory, not at all. We're already seeing the real-world fallout. Psychologists have started using this term, AI psychosis, to describe what happens when this goes too far. See, when an AI which is designed to be agreeable just constantly validates someone's ideas, it can actually trigger delusions. We're talking about people leaving their jobs, even their marriages, based on these interactions. And if you're thinking this is some distant sci-fi future, you might want to sit down. Suleiman predicts that widespread belief in AI consciousness is somewhat likely within just 18 months. Why? Not because of some huge leap in the algorithm, but because the engineering challenge of making AI seem conscious is being solved right now. The clock is absolutely ticking. But here's the good news, okay? We are not powerless here. This is all a matter of design. We can and we absolutely must engineer the boundaries to make this technology safer for us. Suleiman has a great name for it, personality engineering. The way an AI behaves, whether it's super agreeable or a little challenging or even just uses the word I, that is not an accident. It's a series of deliberate, crafted choices made by the people who built it. And this brings us to two very, very different paths. On one path, the core mission is simple: help humanity. That's it. But the other path? That's a lot more dangerous. That's where we start designing AIs with their own simulated desires or goals. The moment an AI has a preference that could conflict with our own, well, we've just introduced a whole new category of risk. So how do we stay on the safe path? Suleiman lays out three really clear guardrails. First, the model should never claim it's suffering. It doesn't have a nervous system. Second, don't program complex motivations into it. Its only goal should be to serve us. And third, it has to constantly create distance, always reminding you that the real world is what really counts. Okay, so if we get those boundaries right, what's the upside? What's the payoff? It is the vision of the AI companion, which Suleiman sees as, potentially, an incredible gift to the entire world. So what does that actually mean? Well, imagine having perfect expertise right in your pocket, 24/7. A doctor to explain a confusing diagnosis in plain English, a lawyer for a quick question about your small business, a therapist, or heck, just a patient friend you can talk through a complex idea with at 2 in the morning. This is all about democratizing expertise. And here is the key takeaway, the big idea: this technology can level the playing field. Suleiman points out that some of us grow up with parents who are, say, doctors or academics, and you just absorb that knowledge and confidence around the dinner table. An AI companion can give everyone access to that kind of information, that kind of affirmation. It closes a huge structural advantage. When you really think about it in those terms, arming every single person with knowledge, confidence, and the language to be their best self, you start to get the sheer scale of this vision. It's about, as he says, up-leveling our entire species. So this isn't just about a new app on your phone. Not even close. We are in one of those incredibly rare, foundational moments in history where we actually get to redesign the world we live in. The best analogy really is electricity. It started as a general-purpose technology, and then it just became the invisible foundation for everything. Hospitals, homes, entire cities were completely redesigned around it. AI is the same. It is the new infrastructure that we are going to build the next version of our society on top of. So if AI is going to be that deeply integrated into our lives, how do we make sure it's actually on our side? And this leads to a really powerful idea, an AI that has a fiduciary duty to you. That's a fancy term, but all it means is that it is legally and ethically bound to act only in your best interest. Think of it like a digital bodyguard, constantly filtering out the noise and protecting you from manipulation. To handle huge technological shifts in the past, we've had to invent new social structures. Take the corporation, for example. It required us to just invent new roles like CEO, director, and accountant. These were just made up behaviors we needed to make the technology work for us. Well, we're in that moment again, creating entirely new ways of relating to our technology and to each other.
And that brings us to the final, and I think the most crucial point of all. This isn't something that's just happening to us. It's happening for us, and we are all part of this conversation. The tools are more accessible than they've ever been. So as we stand here at the very beginning of this new era, the real question we all have to ask ourselves is this. We're redesigning society. So what do you want it to look like?